The atmosphere we wanted for Monsoon was to be, it's a fine dining restaurant. We wanted guests come and have a relaxing evening dining.
What we particularly like about Monsoon is that it is modern in its aesthetic. It has a kind of Asian feel, but it's still interpretive. It's not, you don't say, oh yes, it's Asian, so there's shoji screens everywhere, but there's a sense of architecture to it, there's a playfulness of lighting, there's a minimalism that is really signatures of what we personally enjoy as design.
We wanted it to be a very subtle, warm, dark interior that felt great for our guests, very, very relaxing.
What was great about working with David was that he had a notion at the time of creating a fusion restaurant, East meets West, and interpretive. And, you know, 3 or 4 years ago when we designed and built the restaurant, that was all the rage, as it still is popular. But other than that, he had a fairly open mind in terms of what we could do and how we could interpret that basic idea. And that's a great kind of client to have.
They instantly knew what we wanted to do, so they came back with us, to us with concepts, and we played around with them back and forth. So we worked very well together at the time.
We are more of an interpretive design firm where we listen to the clients, the customers, and we reinvent. We're modernists that are reinventors and interpreters of things. I think there are Asian principles that we have interpreted here, such as in Japanese architecture, that you walk through spaces, spaces unfold to other spaces. The whole notion of lighting these, or creating the columns as lanterns and then walking through the lanterns from the bar area to the dining room, of creating vistas down a corridor and then turning into a bathroom, is a Feng Shui experience. You never put the door at the end of a corridor, you always put it to the side so things flow into things.
From what I know of Feng Shui, which I'm not too well read about Feng Shui, it seems to have a nice flow about it, and the positioning of lack of doors, for instance. There's a very fluid feeling about the restaurant. When you go to the restrooms, there's nothing to touch, there's no doors to walk through.
The whole notion in the dining room of creating calmness, of placing in the center of a room a big sort of soft banquette seating, is a grounding element to the space that everything rotates and revolves around. I think that's very important to create a very settled environment within the space, whereas the bar space is less symmetrical, more kinetic, and has movement to it. These are all basic principles of Asian culture, Asian design, and Asian history, which are in turn folded into the dynamics of Feng Shui and the principles of Feng Shui.
Lighting in the restaurant is the #1 thing that we have. In Monsoon, I believe there's 400 light bulbs to change of various sizes and wattages. So lighting is #1, whether it's a candle or it's the floodlight outside the restaurant. It's all a play on light.
We've done things like play with very simple pine wood and doing a Mondrian pattern and deeply sandblasting it and lighting it in a very severe way, so we have a very strong textural wall that holds the entranceway back into the dining room.
Most people don't understand how it's made, or if it's plastic, or if it's wood, and it's such a beautiful feature, and it's very organic.
We're working with artists, special finish people that are creating sort of rice paper staining and mauve patterns in the bar area. Even the concrete, which everybody does, but what we liked about the concrete in here, we polished it and it has the afterglow or after effects of what was here before. So it has a history to it and adds another texture to it. the abstract paintings of yes, you kind of see the bamboo in them, but they're not figurative, they're interpretive, but there's another layer of texture there, but done in very quiet ways. And there's this huge oversized door and a pivot with the big round circle, sort of like the Japanese flag. And it's a kind of event to open this oversized 6-foot wide door and come into the space. So that whole adventure creates a sense of discovery and surprise as you come into the restaurant. Real important to make it special.
Our clients get a sense of relaxation in here and just the warmth and comfort, and it's very much like a cocoon in here. It's very common for guests to spend 3-4 hours in here for dinner and making an evening out of it. With Yabu Pushelberg, we put a lot of faith in their design skills, and proved incredibly successful for us, because the design we got at the end was just phenomenal, and there's nothing I would ever want to change, aside from the budget.